right, so today I'm going to work on my personal CR500 aluminum frame. A little bit of history about this bike is it's a 2001 chassis with an 89 CR500 motor in it. This bike is the one that basically got me started on converting AF500s, building AF500s. I built this bike in 2007, 2006, 2007, and it's been a great bike. I mean, this thing has been so solid, it's not even funny. In that whole time, I've done one top end on it, and it's starting to get tired. I've noticed the last couple times out that it doesn't want to pull, hills as hard as it used to. Still runs really well. So eventually I'm gonna have to redo the motor. It's actually on its final bore on the jug, so I'm gonna have to re-sleeve it and start over, which is fine. But I've never been into the bottom end. I've done the typical 89, magnesium case, water pump, upgraded it to the 01. It's got heavier clutches in it, whatever. But I noticed last time we was riding that it had a little bit of a exhaust rattle on it. And this bike doesn't have a whole lot of rattles. It vibrates because it's a CR500, but it doesn't have a whole lot of rattles. And I'll show you what I found, and we'll see if we can get it fixed. So let me show you what I found on this bike. If you come back here and look at the silencer, this factory mount right there is broke on the subframe. So I'm going to pull the side panel off and the seat off, and obviously the rear fender, and I'm going to take and mock up a new bracket right here. And once I get that mocked up, I'll actually pull the subframe off, TIG weld the new bracket on it, and then after I do that, I'll actually fix this mount right here. So this was kind of a temporary fix that ended up being a longer term fix than it should have been. I lost a bolt here over in Caneville one year, so I actually used this piece for a spacer to get the spacing right on the silencer. So I'll machine a piece of aluminum stock to go in there to make the spacing correct. And then we'll put it all back together. And while I'm here, I'll do a little cleaning up. And this thing needs a service really bad. So that's the bike, that's the problems. Let's see what we can make happen today. So if you look right there, it's got a gigantic crack in it. And then I'll mock up the new bracket to go right here, and we'll tack it into place on the bike, and I'll pull it off, finish welding it, put it all back together. Well, that was probably the easiest silencer to ever get off. Okay, so what I got here is I actually have this piece of aluminum right here that's actually a bracket from CR500 conversions or CP conversions. They sell a weld-in conversion kit for aluminum frame 500s. CP 500, I think is what it is. Anyways, they also sell various different brackets for you know, different things, exhaust mounts, engine mounts and stuff like that. This is one I have kicking around from a conversion I did several years back, and it actually fits. I had to put just a little bit of a tweak into it to bend that because this subframe has a bow to it. E500, they're awesome for little stuff like this. This is where I get all of my inlets to do the radiator conversions and the outlets for the radiator conversions. It's well worth the little bit of money it costs to try to make something else work. They're awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this tacked into place, clean it up, get it tacked into place. Then we'll pull it off, put a finish weld on it, and then I'll move on to rebuilding this spacer right here. Okay, so I got it tacked into place right there and right there, so it should be pretty permanent-ish. So I'm gonna go ahead and go get some aluminum stock out of my pile, and I'm gonna do some measuring with some micrometers and get the distance between here and the overall diameter of it, and we'll build an aluminum spacer to go there. The air filter clean while we have it out, and we'll do a little cleaning up on the frame and change the oil on it, and it'll be ready to go before we know it. So one thing I like to do when I'm building parts on the lathe is I like to get my calipers out, make my measurements, and I actually write them down on a piece of 2-inch masking tape. And the reason I like doing that is because when I'm done, I can just rip that section off of the tape, roll of tape, and I'll come over to my lathe and I'll throw the tape right here. It's a lot easier for me than writing it down on a piece of paper and having the wind or the air conditioner, you know, blow it around. And then when I'm done, I just peel the tape off and throw it in the trash. So that may not work for everybody. It's worked really well for me. So let me show you what we got. I started with some 1 1/8", I believe, round stock aluminum, and I've turned down the rear bushing for the rear outward silencer mount. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that out of there, and we'll double check it on the bike. Okay, so I got the rear subframe all pulled off, cleaned it up, welded it up, and it's going to work really well. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It's really solid. Plastics fit perfect. I'm not going to have to trim any plastics or anything. For clearance on the new bracket, let me flip this camera around and I'll show you what we got going on. So there's the spacer I built for the rear, and I put a taper on it so it wouldn't interfere with this upper washer right here that goes in this upper bushing. That's a smaller diameter, and then I matched this diameter right here of the old washer to that bushing. I'm gonna have to put new bushings in it here shortly, but got this piece all welded on, welded it outside, and also welded it on the inside, so that thing will be nice and sturdy, and it's gonna be a lot better than it was because that bracket right there is about twice the size of the factory bracket. In fact, I can show you the size of it on Flex here. It's pretty much the same thing. That was just the factory one, and mine just broke right there. So anyways, yeah, I got that all put together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing all serviced up and put back together. While I have it tore apart, I'm gonna do some pressure washing and cleaning on it and kind of make it happy. Anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and get that all done, and thanks for watching. Go ahead, do me a favor, subscribe, hit the like button, comment. Let me know what you guys are working on. I'm interested to know what you guys are working on at home. If you're building the AF500, if you have any questions for me that you think I can answer, man, send me a message. I'd like to know. Bikes are my passion, conversions, I love doing them. They're my favorite thing to do with bikes other than riding them. So let me know what you're working on. I'm interested to hear. So thanks again. Like, subscribe, comment. See you guys later.